Well, hello, Alicia.
Hi, Kristiane.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
How are things there? What's the weather like in Denmark?
Oh, I have hardly seen the weather. I've been teaching all day. Reconnection gives direction. So
Wonderful.
I've had a good time and I'm looking forward to this little session on the Wheel of Health
Yes.
as well.
Let's grab the
Um,
opportunity. Yes.
yes, I think last time we shared a little bit, but I think we could recap a little bit from
Yeah,
last
let's.
time.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of words about who you are first.
Yeah.
Not necessarily long, but just a little bit about who you are.
Well, yes, I've been dealing with natural health and giving consultations, macrobiotics, Eastern medicine for 10 years or so. My interest started very early with myself being vegetarian, being aware that I could choose what I wanted to eat, and with that I could have an outcome. My health would be better or worse according to what I chose. So yeah, a whole life experience in this in natural health.
Yeah,
And now, yeah,
me too. I started with actually breaking down my health when I was 21. I
yeah,
went down with what I now know is stress, but those days it was totally unexplainable. Food went right through me. I lost weight. I was tired and blah, 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 blah. Burnout, and basically, which the doctors could not diagnose at those days. So, long story short, that changed my life. And I have basically changed food and lifestyle when I was 23 and started meditating and changed my eating and everything. And it sort of started going a totally different direction. I've been teaching food and lifestyle since 82. And I've been developing some of these methods for personal self reflection that's very efficient. That's called IMA.
mhm,
Uh, in 2001. It took a lot of time for me to get there,
mm,
to develop that, but now it's there. And now today we're going to talk about the Wheel of Health.
mhm,
And the Wheel of Health is based on two different perspectives: the epigenetics, which we talked a little bit about last time. Epigenetics is about how our lifestyle and thoughts and everything affects our genes, or which genes is activated or deactivated in our body. And energetics is like more from the macrobiotic Eastern approach to health, where we are looking at the energy flow in the body and so on. And those are the core things that we are having in the center of this wheel of health. How we can activate and deactivate our genes, and how the energy flow is in the body, and how we can affect it with all these different four parts. And I think I can start maybe repeating a little bit about from last time about why is it these particular four parts that comes out of, well, common sense, but also epigenetics. And that is that Bruce Lipton showed about 40, maybe 50 years ago by now. I think it's probably 50 years ago. It was 40 years ago when I read his book. And when I met him in 2014, he showed that the cloned stem cells, if you make three different petri dishes with cloned stem cells, that means the DNA is exactly the same. The genes are exactly the same. And then you make three different petri dishes, and then you give them different types of nutrition. Then one develops into fat, another to bone, and a third to muscle cells. And that proves very clearly that it's not the DNA that determines what a cell develop into, but actually the nutrition it's given. So that is like a real eye opener, because many people think it's their genes that makes them sick or healthy, and then they are victims of their genes and helpless. But we do have, Bruce Lipton shared that we have about 25,000 combinations of the genes each of us have. So there is definitely some of those versions of me that's healthy. And it's more a question of finding the way to actually get there. And no, can we say how we activate certain genes and not? No. Do we know the names of any genes? No. But we do know that our lifestyles are actually affected. And basically, if we're looking at that these cells get different nutrition, the cells get nutrition from the blood, And these 4 areas in the wheel of health came about by looking at the blood quality. It's determined by the food we eat, the air we breathe, and our movement and our hormones, which affects our emotions. Well, the other way around. Our emotions is affecting our hormones. Also, our relationships is affecting our hormones.
Yeah.
So all of these things end up affecting the blood quality, and then the cell quality, and then not the type of cells we are having necessarily, but the health of cells. So let's look at the wheel of health again and see how we can have that come closer. So there is these 4 areas. There's body or body flow, which we can, what can we say, influence in many ways.
Yeah, and let me say that we are looking at this at the Wheel of Health because it will be an integral part of our Activate Your Self-Healing Power course that starts in May, 16th of May. But not only that course, also the Holistic Health Activator course, which is a longer one. Yeah, it's a longer course. So this is an integral part at the basic. It's the basis of what makes us healthy. Yeah, it's very condensed.
And it's even a very basic part of how we're looking at health in Avno Oasis, because by complementing all these different approaches, what basically happens is that these different approaches, they go in and they complement each other, and we don't need to be totally rigid on any of them. The other perspective, the other basic perspective, actually, I want to talk a little bit about that before I go into the details, is the energetic perspective. Because for Westerners, what is that? I remember when I was first like, oh, how can I wrap my head around it? It's kind of difficult, but it's more like an Eastern approach, and it's more like looking at that there is an energy behind, can we say, every phenomena. Like, very simple, if we just make it very simple right now, we take a kale. A kale is growing like upwards and outwards. So that's kind of like showing what's the kind of basic energy in the kale. Now a carrot is growing downwards.
Yeah.
And has a different type of basic energy. And the same, each one of us as people have different types of energies. Some of us are more grounded. Some of us are more floating around and more airy and like this.
Some more fiery.
Yeah.
Some more watery.
Yeah. So we have different types of energies. So that's kind of like what we are working with. And we're looking at different types of activities, different types of food, different types of beliefs can change how the energy flows in our body. And according to Eastern medicine, basically, health is when the energy flows. And you can think about a river. If the water in a river, wherever the water is not flowing, that's where sediments settle down. That's the same in our body. When we get sediments in our intestines or in our blood flow or whatever, it's when things are not moving.
And you get blockages, the flow stops, it starts going off, getting rotten, cysts, things, So we need to get us flowing, always moving,
that our
why it's so
energy, the
important,
energy
movement,
inside of us is flowing. It doesn't mean that we need to run frenetically around. It's just that the energy should be flowing, and that's what creates health in the end. And there can be many ways of blocking the energy. All these 4 areas, they can either, in those areas, you can find ways of blocking the energy or ways of making the energy flow. You can just do a very simple experiment for yourself right now. Just sit and, for example, think about something you really like to do. And then tell yourself, I'm not allowed to do that. And just feel what happens in your body. For most part, people will usually feel it blocks the flow. And you can feel it. Now, Of course, this doesn't matter if you do it for a short time, but if you do this consistently and this is how you're living your life, and also the other way around, that there's something you really don't like, and then you have to do it, that also gives the same kind of block, or similar kind of block. And this blockage will eventually lead to disease. That's a kind of like the outlook on life
Hmm.
uh, aspect that I just took a quick little example from, how is the
Hmm.
outlook on life? Am I following what's true to me? Am I not? Am I integrity? Am I not? This is like very little things that can actually have a very, very big impact. Similar, we can use nutrition as well. We can eat very extreme foods, and then we have, we'll go more into that. And that gives us more extreme energy, which can be very exciting and give a big sense of, hey, I'm really alive. Or we can eat more very simple foods, and it can end up being a little bit boring on the one side, but it can also give peace and connection on the other side. Um, with body, also, Alicia, you're working with exercises and body work and
Yeah.
things. There is also,
Massage. Yeah. Yeah. Life is movement. Yeah. If you stop stagnation, death is stagnation and stopping the flow of life. So if you don't move, sometimes it has happened to me that I go to a person's house, a patient's house, bedridden. So the person can't move, the person needs to get movement from the outside to help the person recover. That flow needs to be kept. So yeah, this is essential to life. And obviously, according to the activity level, breathing, yes, be aware. Sometimes we are at a very shallow level in city life and coming and going. We don't breathe properly. We don't get the oxygen that the cells need to keep young also, because that will prevent aging if your cells get the right amount of oxygen throughout your life. And yeah, body work and the home remedies and therapies, that is also, we will also discuss that in detail to recover all this old knowledge, folk knowledge, that our ancestors had. And it's a shame that it gets lost. We are doing our everything we can to keep it to alive at Avno, yeah, Oasis, and we
basic.
share it in the courses. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically, we will keep having these live streams coming every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and every Sunday at 5 o'clock, or around 5ish, maybe 5:15 or whatever, but around 5. Um, then we will have courses. Of course, we have courses here in Avno Hojskole as well. But basically, we will keep doing it. And next time, our topic will be nutrition. And then we'll go through the other 4 topics one at a time and
Hmm.
discuss them deeper. And last time, if you haven't seen the live stream with us last time, the basic focus was on the whole concept of activating our self-healing powers, which is very different from actually, what can we say? Very different from healing, or from taking medicine to get rid of symptoms, because it goes to the basic of things.
Yeah.
So
So we will take our health in our hands. Yeah, we will take full command. And obviously, therapists, doctors are there also, but we'll do our most on our daily life to avoid going to the therapist or to the doctor to have a sad life, perhaps overridden with problems.
so that we have them when we really need them.
That's right.
So I just want to clarify that totally. We are not against doctors.
No, 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 no. My brother is a doctor.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, thank you for today.
Thank you. Thank you all. See you Tuesday. sorted. There you are, Kristiane, and there's me.
There
Okay.
you are.
Hello,
Hello.
Kristiane.
Yes, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Good evening.
Good evening. So maybe